Hey everybody, this is Grace and I'm out here. It's 7:29 p.m. here in in Texas, north of Dallas, northeast, and it's 98 degrees, what my SUV says, and my phone says it's I think 97, and it only feels like 99. It feels like it was 106 to 108 today, maybe somewhere in there. Yeah. And my health is not enjoying it. So, no, I've been feeling a little bit like under the weather, could I say? Anyway, so I'm sitting out here. I'm sitting out here because the house, we have a big house, 2-story house, and we have 2 air conditioners, central units, central air and heat. And the upstairs one we don't run because nobody's up there right now. And so we just run the bottom one. But whenever the temperature outside is today, it was 102. The actual temperature at one time was 102. Not just the heat index, but the temperature. And when it gets like that high, the AC will get warmer and warmer. And by this time, it's around 78. When it hits 77, that's when I start feeling bad. Around 77 degrees. So, anyway, it was 78, I think, when I last checked. So I'm out here running my AC in my SUV so I can breathe and feel comfortable. It was uncomfortable. But anyway, now, I could talk about this. I have, these health conditions and all that, and I am a person who enjoys being busy. Okay, I do enjoy being busy. Now, I have said for many years what I have said is, when do I ever get to sit down? When do I ever just get to sit down? Really, just relax, kick my feet up, watch TV, enjoy something. For most of my life, I really didn't like TV, but it could be because I was always too busy. There's a thought. But I really liked computers. I had my first one in 1982. So, I was more on the computer side of things, pioneer woman in the social medias and stuff, Social media. There. Anyway. So, yeah, but really, I don't get to sit down much. And now, some people say, ooh, don't tell me this, but I'm going to tell you this. So, fair warning. I take 3 diuretics a day because of my health condition. 3. I was already taking 2. They just added another one when I went in March, and they diagnosed me with heart failure. And they said, it's a big word, but don't worry, it's just a warning. Well, but anyway, I take these 3 a day, and the way that I have to walk from where I am is usually in the front of the house. Okay, I have to go, say I'm in one room, count that as 1. Okay, usually in the far room, to go to the restroom and all the way back, it's, I do this because of those diuretics, and also other stuff that I do on the other side of the house. We just say average between, just say 15 times a day. That's one direction. So it's 30 times a day with going there, that's 1, coming back, that's 2. 30 times a day. It's not a short thing because it's 7 rooms. Well, 2 of them are hallways. Well, one's a hallway and the other one is the entranceway. Okay, and this is where I'd have to do it. Because of the dogs. We don't want the dogs running out and getting killed by running in the road. They're not outside dogs. They don't know how to behave, in the front yard and stuff like that. They're not going to do it. So, anyway, I've been trying to tell Adam, get one of these walls, and he said that's not going to work. He measured it. Yeah, well, you need to do something. Because that's too far. I have been saying there needs to be a door that goes right there to the laundry room from this room, and the door goes to the laundry room, and I'm right there. Okay, just right outside the laundry room. I mean, right outside the laundry room. So, and since a lot of what I do is in the laundry room, that would be great. And the only thing is that would have to go through a closet in that front room to take out the it's basically for, you know, coats and stuff like that. Coat closet. Well, I don't know. I've never had one that called that, but anyway, you get the picture. So, you know, this was not what I was planning on making a video on today. But yeah, it's a lot on my legs, and that, you know, I've compared it to, you know, if I were out working and doing, you know, if I could, but with this heat and my heart issues, there's no way I could right now work out in this heat. And because I was supposed to get cardio rehabilitation, and yeah, doctors, you know, come on, get with the program. Seriously, that was in March. It's the end of July. Okay, but they're gonna run a test. And I changed again to a different doctor. I've changed the one I was supposed to go to in the first place. And then his office called me last week or the week before, and said that he needed to reschedule. He was going to have an emergency that day. So for 3 weeks later, it is something. I'm telling you, this is sometimes unbelievable with all this. And yeah, I should be, you know, I would like to know what I can do. I'd like to get started with what I need to do. And if I have to do physical therapy, what in the world was that? Something flying around. It must be a big dragonfly. Anyway, it's red. What the heck? But anyway, all this stuff, you know, so I can go back to work. But I compare this going back and forth to the restroom that many times a day would be if I was out and doing these, you know, for what I do for health insurance, is because of my edema on my feet, you know, swelling and all that, and no place was going to let, you know, I couldn't work any other place. I went through it, believe me, trust me. All the kind of jobs I could have done, not even from home, because yeah, they still want you there when they need you there. And I would need to be able to, whenever I need to stop. Whenever I want to work, I have to work. So I decided that the only thing that I could think of to do would be the food delivery. That was before I was diagnosed with heart failure. I was diagnosed, I mean, that was back in 2023. I wasn't diagnosed until this year. And March, like I said. So, yeah, I probably should have been diagnosed way back then. Anyway, before I started working, really. But anyway, like I was saying, I compare it to how many deliveries I would make. Now, when you do a delivery, you know, food, you know, you go get somebody their lunch at some restaurant, okay? And you get the order and you go in. There's that. You go, you get out of your vehicle, you drive to it, get out of your vehicle, go in. Usually I take advantage of their restrooms with mine. Yeah. Back then even. And pick up the food, go, you know, make sure and wash your hands. I actually keep, you hear this? That's, it's a Huggies Natural Care. This one is sensitive and fragrance free. You know, those little, you know, wash my hands. I can't use alcohol because it breaks my hands. I'm allergic. But anyway, so the whole thing, go into the restaurant, get the food, then walk in, walk out, walk in, stand around, walk out, then drive to the person's home to deliver it, go in, you know, go through the door, to the door, then back. And some of these aren't very close. This is Texas, okay? We like our wide open spaces. And a lot of them, the houses are built kind of up on a little bit of a hill, or they're just built up from the road, I guess, so the houses don't flood in them. Like I said, I have a big house, and hers is not really up too much. Like some of these, the walkway to the door kind of goes like real high up. Seriously. And they don't have those rails to hold on to, and it's very awkward. And like they wind around, and some of this, each step is, they wind and wind, and they're not like you're stepping like you're on stairs. It's just the steps go winding around. It's not the easiest thing to do. Trust me on that. Some of them right in my neighborhood are like that, and but some of them are just easy, just like walking. But still, that's the part that can be very. I mean, especially if it's like somebody who lives on the 3rd or 4th floor, and they don't have any. They got grandfathered in, I guess, and don't have any, elevator. I mean, talk about. In the Texas heat, the first year, 2023, when I did them, I remember one of them. I walked up when I wasn't expecting it, but the wind hit me a certain way, and I guess it was kind of sandy. And I was on the 3rd floor then, and I almost fell down. Or maybe I was just walking up the first bit of it, and it was just, oh my gosh. I don't do apartments. Zoom in and see if they're apartments. Or, get a clue on where the apartments are, but that takes time. Both of those takes time to learn how to do it, so you know which ones are apartments, because chances are it's going to be on the freaking 3rd floor or 4th floor. Seriously, it's not. I don't know. All the deliveries I've done, I think one of them, maybe one. When I first started doing them, one of them was on the 1st floor. Wow. First I would do them, then I said no. Because my health started going downhill. Anyway, boy, I'm doing stream of consciousness here. But anyway, like I said, this wasn't what I planned on talking about, but maybe it was just time to do something like this. A little catch up. But what else? But I do want to start working, because I would feel better when I was working. I did feel better. It was good for me when the weather wasn't so bad. The temperature, I should say, or the weather itself. Sometimes I know some people like to deliver when it's storming. I have a video when Adam and I were out. Was it last week or week before? And I have several clips, but one of them, the last one, we were out buying groceries, and we stepped out of there. We had no idea that this was going to happen. I mean, we had been told that it was going to rain. Usually they tell us that. It doesn't happen. It's just continued since then. But that day it did. It was like 8 o'clock, and it doesn't get dark until 9 around right this time of the year. And we walked out, and you could see it was like a shelf, The top part was black. And on the video it showed it as dark blue, but it was black. And the bottom part was white. Okay. And not blue, really. And like you would see the sky, but it was white. The contrast was so strong. But on camera, yeah, it showed it blue and then light blue. So, but it was all around. By the time we got home, and it's not that far, by the time we got home, the last clip was 5 minutes, and I think it was, let's see, 5 or 6 times the lightning strikes. One of them, the first 3, I was like, oh man, it hit something. That third one, or whatever one it was, the next one, it was so bad. Oh, man, it lit the whole screen up. And I was driving, And Adam was like, "Oh my God!" He told her, "Can you believe it? Oh, it hit something. It hit those poles. The poles at the fire station. The flag poles." But anyway, it was terrible. I don't know who would want to go out in that to make a few bucks. Really, your life that not worth that kind, not worth living. That you go out for a few bucks. We weren't expecting it. We were not expecting that at all. Like anything like that. That was just, neither one of us, we both said we've never experienced anything like that. He's older than I. I'm 62, so hey, you see? But anyway, like I said, this wasn't really what I wanted to come out here, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I think I've caught up enough. I'm sure I left something hanging in there, but it's just been so much just this year, just in my life, the past, I don't know how many, maybe my whole life, just too much. When you have too much, like the whole thing of me saying that, when do I ever just get to sit down? Seriously, when? That was not me lying, because think that many times I have to walk across the house back and forth, all this, and then when I'm over on the other side of the house and want to do something, usually, well, maybe not even usually, because it has gotten to where I can't do all that. I cannot do all that I used to. I mean, I was always the homemaker, but I also would have a sometimes full-time job and the second shift at home. That's what they call it, the second shift. And I was also a student. It was a big chunk of my life. I was a career student over 20 years. Really wanted to know what I know. And I do. I know it. So, anyway, it was just, I have had a very busy life. I'm not one who just wants to sit down. And that was what I was going to start the video off on, was that have any of you ever known, or maybe in person, or heard about, like me, younger, we didn't have online, to compare to. You heard about it, or you knew him, or you heard about it. There's somebody who was a glutton. How many people even know what gluttony means these days? And like I said, it could be, that's what I was going to make the video on these days. Gluttony. How many people know gluttons? People who just, they overeat. It was always, in the past, gluttony was always about, was known for as overeating and drinking, alcoholic beverages. That's what it was known for. I mean, but it doesn't just, it's not just that. But that's what it was known for. I do wonder how many people these days, they get it. They know it, they understand, of any age, because some of these things like that, and greed, and let me look at my list, mainly like those two, gluttony, greed, or going with envy, jealousy. And how many of these things are talked about these days? Morals, standards, ethics. How many people learn these kinds of things these days? They're actually talked about, parent to child. They teach them, parent or parents to child or children. How many people know? Right from wrong. What's good or bad? What's good or evil? How many people are taught this? Nowadays it's like, well, that's a narcissist. Okay, to be diagnosed as a narcissist, it takes a counselor, therapist, whatever it is, wherever you live, that is legal. Not just somebody looking at somebody and say, oh, they talked about themselves, they're a narcissist. No, it doesn't work that way. No. Okay, so the time of the day is 7:49 p.m. Time of the day is going to get busy out here. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Talk to you on another video. Bye.